What's good, everybody? It's the Clown with Cab Show. We got NFL Week 15, and my Indianapolis Colts had the biggest game yet at home playing against the New England Patriots. Me being a diehard Colts fan, you have to understand that we hate the New England Patriots. We hate everything about them, what they represent. Yes, they're a winning culture, but we still dislike them. We don't like them at all. And the Patriots coming into this game, they're on a 7-game win streak, so it's not going to be an easy game. And I think for Carson Wentz, he's got to have his best game all season this game. He can't throw any interceptions. He can't make dumb plays. And I think the run game with Jonathan Taylor is going to be the X factor in this game. If they can run the ball in New England, the Colts all day in this matchup. And it's crazy. The Colts are opening up at 2.5-point favorites, which it kind of makes sense. They're playing at home, and they play well at home. But I'm kind of a head scratch like, the New England Patriots, they won 7 in a row. Like, how are they the underdog right now? Yes, there's some injuries. Damian Harris, he's out with a hamstring injury. He's really had a good season this year. But Mac Jones, last game against the Bills, he threw 3 passes. That's it. Went 2 for 3. And the Patriots just grinded it out, a win at Buffalo, which is crazy, but that's what Bill Belichick does. We have to give Bill Belichick respect. He's a champion. Super Bowl after Super Bowl. There's a reason for that. And it really comes down to coaching in this game, and I think obviously the advantage is the New England Patriots. When it comes to crunch time, I do think the advantage is the New England Patriots, but I just think for Carson Wentz, almost 3,000 yards passing this year, 22 touchdowns, only 5 picks. It's going to be a huge game for him, and I think Jonathan Taylor with 16 touchdowns this year, probably the best running back right now, playing the best in the NFL. And I think Jonathan Taylor, man, he's going to be a superstar, if not already a superstar. I just think for the Colts, they got to get that run game going. We saw against Tampa, it was really inconsistent, but for the most part, this whole year, it's been great. For the Indianapolis Colts. So I'm rooting for my Indianapolis Colts. I just think for Mac Jones, it's really which Mac Jones is going to show up. Is it going to be the rookie Jones, or is it going to be like, hey, he looks like, he's been in the league for 5 years right now. But, for him, he's got 16 touchdowns, 8 picks throughout the year. I just think for the Patriots, it comes down to execution and can they put pressure on Carson Wentz. And I think for the Colts defense, I think they are going to cause problems for Mac Jones. So I'm going to go my Indianapolis Colts here. I think for the Colts to win this game, they got to come out fast. They have to. They cannot get behind early, playing at home in this magnitude of a game. So I just think for Indianapolis Colts, this is a playoff game right here. As where the Patriots, they can afford a L. They really can. They can afford a loss right here and still make the playoffs. So I just think for the Colts, you cannot lose this game. This is a huge game, the biggest game yet. So I'm going to go my Indianapolis Colts. More on the line for the Colts. And I think Carson Wentz, he's got something to prove this game. And I think this whole year, a lot of people kind of written off Carson Wentz. They kind of ignored him and said, oh, whatever. Like, I'm telling you what, he has more potential than Andrew Luck, Indianapolis Colts fan. I'm telling you right now, he does. He's got it, dude. He's got it. So I just think for the offensive line, protect Carson Wentz. And I think for Carson Wentz throughout his time in the league, his weakness is holding the ball too long. You got to get it out. Look at the GOAT, Tom Brady. He gets it out in like 2 seconds sometimes. Maybe just as soon as they hike it, boom, it's out of his hands. So I just think for that, the execution's got to be timing for the Colts. Everything's timing right now. So I think the Colts open up as favorites. So I'm going to go by Indianapolis Colts. 45.5 is the over-under. That's really a toss-up, but I love the Colts at 2.5. This could be an over game. I could see it being a high-scoring game right now. Defenses are a little shaken up, but I think the momentum, obviously, is the New England Patriots. So if you're putting $1 million on this game and you put it on the Patriots, I would be like, you know what? That's really not a bad bet necessarily. You got Bill Belichick, a great, smart coach, so you're betting on that as well. I just think for Mac Jones, it's really like, I don't know about him, dude, yet. It's so early. He's still a rookie, so to say he's going to be the next Tom Brady, that's ignorant to say right now. So, and I just think for the Colts, if you put $1 million on the Colts, I would say, yeah, they're playing at home. Carson Wentz has had a good season, and the running game for Jonathan Taylor right now has been magnificent, dude. I'm telling you, dude. So if you were to put $1 million on this game, I would go Colts. I really would. It would be a loose mill for sure, but I like the Indianapolis Colts all day here. Go Colts over the trash New England Patriots. And then we got the Saints versus the Bucs. The Bucs open up as 11.5-point favorites, which makes sense. You got the GOAT, Tom Brady. 36 touchdowns this year, 10 picks. over 4,100 yards passing. He's balling out. For the Saints, Taysom Hill, 175 yards passing last week against the Jets. Kamara, he had a great game against the Jets, 120 yards rushing and a touchdown. I just think for the Saints, they're banged up. They got 2 offensive guards out this game, so I'm definitely going to go Bucks. And if you think the spread's too much, definitely go money line. 100% guaranteed money line. And I hate to say guarantees in the NFL because any given Sunday, anything can happen, right? Anything is possible on any given Sunday. But I just think for the Bucks, man, Tom Brady, he's got it, dude. Love or hate Tom Brady, you have to respect his greatness. I mean, dude, it's unreal that to even think like he's won 7 Super Bowls. Like, that is crazy, dude. Like, that's unreal. But I just think for the Bucks right now, they're kind of getting that stride again. They're 10-3 right now, and I'm telling you what, dude, they're not losing a stride. And we heard speculations of releasing Antonio Brown. They should not do that. If the Bucks want to repeat, their best possible chance is to keep Antonio Brown. You can't just let him go, dude. We're talking Antonio Brown, probably one of the most gifted receivers the NFL's ever seen, dude. And there's been a lot of gifted receivers, but I'm telling you, Antonio Brown, he's just got that, that it factor. He really does. Yes, there's some off-the-field issues. I understand that, and I think Tom Brady understands that, but I really do think Tom Brady saved Antonio Brown's career in a way, by recruiting to the Patriots back in 2019 all the way up to this point. I just think for Arians, do not release AB. That would be a dumb move, okay? So, hey, they need Antonio Brown. I think he'll be back. Leonard Fournette's playing great, 8 touchdowns this year. Gronk's in the lineup. Mike Evans, man, he's been balling out. They're averaging 31.5 points a game. So I think Tampa is going to just steamroll the Saints. The Saints are injured. Ever since Winston went down, it's been really a downhill spiral for the Saints. I mean, we go back to week 1 with the New Orleans Saints. What happened? What happened with the Saints, dude? They killed Green Bay Packers. It looked like Green Bay Packers. Aaron Rodgers that's it, dude. Like, he wants to get traded away. Now look at Green Bay. They're at number 1. Tampa's at number 2. So I think it's great for the NFL, but I'm definitely going to go Tampa Bay Buccaneers all day in this matchup, dude. Do not go the Saints. Now, it could be a huge upset, but I'm telling you, at home in Tampa, the defending Super Bowl champions all day, money line guaranteed, but I'll still go to 11.5. 45.5 is the over-under. I'd probably go with the over as well. Go the over, man. I'm telling you on this game. I just think Tom Brady's going to have a heck of a game. And then we got the Carolina Panthers versus the Buffalo Bills. Bills are 12-point favorites, which it really seems like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But 12, dude? I thought it would be like 8.5, 9. Really, I just think, yes, I get it with the Carolina Panthers. McCaffrey's out. Cam Newton's not really having a good year. And really, me being a huge Cam Newton fan, I understand that, hey, man, the prime Cam Newton, it's over with. It is. It's past him. I don't know if all the hits started to add up on his body. We have to understand, dude, this is the pros here. These guys are huge. They're massive. So when you're taking these hits year after year in the NFL, dude, it's going to add up to you. I mean, Cam's been in the NFL for a decade now. So, some of those hits, that unnecessary hits that Cam could have avoided, it's really catching up to him. But, for Cam last weekend, he had a touchdown, but also had a pick against Atlanta. But I just think if Carolina wants to upset the Bills, it's going to be because of Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers defense. That's what it's going to come down to. I mean, straight up. But for the Bills right now, Josh Allen, really had an iffy year this year. Really inconsistent. Some games he looks great. He looks like an MVP candidate. Then other games it's like, man, like he's taking sacks, he's throwing picks. It just doesn't look right. So I just think for the Buffalo Bills, their weakness is consistency. You have to be consistent in the NFL, or else you're not going to win. I mean, if you're inconsistent in the playoffs, what good is that? So I just think for the Bills, yes, I'll go Bills in this matchup. I'll definitely go money line though. I just think, with the Panthers, it's one of those things, man. McCaffrey's out. I think if McCaffrey was in the lineup and not out for the season, him and Cam, I do think Carolina could upset him here. But I just think McCaffrey being out, that's an X factor. And I think Josh Allen's going to have a breakout game. And I think the Bills' defense are going to put pressure on Cam Newton and force him to throw it in the pocket, throw deep balls like that. But I think Josh Allen's going to have a good game, 3 or 4 touchdowns. And I expect Stephon Diggs to have a good game as well. He's got 7 TDs this year. So I like Buffalo all day here. I would love to see Carolina with the upset, but I'm going Buffalo Bills at home. It makes sense. And then we got Arizona Cardinals versus Detroit Lions. Detroit's got one win this year. I mean, look, I'm going Arizona. It would be ignorant to bet against Arizona. Yes, they got a heartbreak on Monday Night Football, but overall, it's really been a good season for Arizona. Yes, they've had some injuries. I do expect to see J.J. Watt back by the end of the year, if not the first game in the playoffs, somewhere around that time frame. And Arizona Cardinals want J.J. Watt back. I think that's a huge X factor, for Arizona to run deep in the playoffs. It really is. And Kyler Murray, yes, last game had a bad game, 2 picks. That just comes with it. I just think for the Arizona Cardinals, you're going to have to start to come around, right? They started off 8-1, really hot, and then all of a sudden they kind of got in this little funk. This is the time where teams need to be playing better instead of worse, and Arizona's kind of declining a little bit, but I think they'll get back on the ground here. I'm not worried about it. James Conner, their running back, he's questionable with the ankle injury. I think that's going to be a loss, not a loss for Arizona's team, but overall, I'm still going to take Arizona over Detroit Lions. I mean, seriously, DeAndre Swift, Detroit Lions running back, he's out with a shoulder injury. Goff, he's got 14 touchdowns, 8 picks this year, but nothing special. I even told you guys years ago that Jared Goff was not the guy to win a Super Bowl. We saw what he did in the Super Bowl. How many points did he put up on the New England Patriots? 3. Okay? That's all you had to say. And that's when they knew. That's when the Rams knew that, hey, Jared Goff, we're going to end up trading him. That's when Sean McVay said, you know what? Man, he's not the guy. Jared Goff, that's why they traded for him. It made sense. Imagine if they had Matt Stafford back, when they played the Patriots in the Super Bowl. I mean, I think that he would have put up more than 3 points, really. But I just think for the Detroit Lions, man, it's sick. It's sickening. It sucks. Losing does, kind of hurt your soul in a way, right? Just losing in life in general. Yes, you start to learn from your mistakes, but nobody wants to lose, dude. I hate losing. I do, dude. Sometimes it's one of those things where it's like, man, dude, like, I hate it so much. It's like, I don't want to have that feeling again. It's one of them feelings. If I could compare losing, it's like getting punched in the face. It's like, unexpected, and it's just like, you don't like it. You don't, but I'm going Arizona all day here. Arizona Cardinals, I expect Kyler Murray to bounce back from a bad game last weekend, so I like Arizona all day. I'll take the 13, if not go money line, but I'll take Arizona all day. 47.5 is the over-under. That's definitely a toss-up, but I like Arizona. And then we got the New York Jets versus the Miami Dolphins. Miami Dolphins, 9.5-point favorites, which kind of makes sense. The Jets, dude, they're trash. And Zach Wilson, been banged up, in the middle of the year. Now he's back, but, he's got 6 touchdowns, 11 picks this year. But, it's kind of what I expected from Zach Wilson and the Jets. I mean, he was going to a program where they suck, The Jets haven't been good in decades, really. I mean, we could go back to, to the Mark Sanchez days, the butt fumble days. It's just like, come on, dude. The Jets have been so terrible. They really have. Elijah Moore, he's out with COVID. The Jets have been giving up 30.5 points a game. Like 30.5. Like, that is terrible. So I'm going to go Miami Dolphins. And Tua's been playing nice, man. I just think for Tua, 12 touchdowns, 6 picks this year. He had 2 touchdowns and 244 yards versus the Giants last week. So I expect it to be all Miami. You're playing in Miami. No excuses here. So I'm gonna go Miami. It's crazy. I'm picking a lot of the favorites right now, but I like Miami. I really do. 41 is the over-under. Now anything can happen. If this is gonna be an upset game, it's this game. I think the Jets, Zach Wilson can really ball out and have a game of his career in the NFL as a rookie. So I think this is the game, but I'm going to go Miami. 41 is the over-under. I'd probably go with the under here. I really would, but I like Miami all day in this matchup. And then we got the Cowboys versus the Giants. The Cowboys are 10.5-point favorites. I'm telling you what, right now, Giants fans, do not take that spread. Go money line Dallas. I just think, traditionally, the Giants play the Cowboys nice, year in and year out, typically. Typically, not every single time, but typically they do. And Dak, man, I just think for the Dallas Cowboys, it's kind of like, man, is it going to be the Dallas Cowboys that we're used to seeing year in and year out? Get all this hype, have great players, but just don't capitalize on it. And that's kind of what we saw, and that's what we've been seeing. But I just think for Dak, I'm not going to give up on Dak. And a lot of people have gave up on Dak. I just think for Dak right now, this is the time to really run deep in the playoffs right now. This is the time to show that, hey, I am valuable to the Dallas Cowboys organization, and I can be a franchise quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys in the future for the next 10 years. So I just think for Dak right now, he's got 24 touchdowns, 10 picks this year. I mean, the Saints, he had a touchdown and a pick. Really a quiet game. Zeke has got 8 touchdowns this year. I just think for the Cowboys, got to get that running game going. You got to get Zeke hungry again. He's got to be rushing for over 100-plus yards for the Cowboys to really win games and run deep in the playoffs. That's what they got to do. And I really do think it starts with the offensive line and Zeke, man. It really does. To take pressure off Dak too much. Don't put everything on Dak. Don't become a throw first team. I remember the Cowboys where they like to run it a lot. So I want to see Zeke get that, run first. Really, dude, I just want to see the hungry Zeke. I really do. So Zeke, man, he's been balling out. But I think the X factor for the Cowboys is their defense and Micah Parsons. 12 sacks this year as a rookie. He should win Rookie Defensive Player of the Year. No doubt about it. This cat is nice. Coming out of Penn State, I think he's going to do great things. He already has. But I think for the Cowboys drafting him, that was a great pick. And I think if the Cowboys do run deep, it's because of their defense. It's not because of Dak Prescott and Zeke. Yes, they're going to have a big influence, but I think to go deep into the playoffs this year, you got to have good defense, and that starts with Micah Parsons. Man, he's a baller. So I like the Cowboys all day. Daniel Jones is out. Mike Lennon, he played last week versus the Chargers, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. He can have a good game, but come on. You're playing against a second-string quarterback, arguably a third-string quarterback on his way out of the NFL. Come on, Cowboys. This is the game you need to win right here. I expect Saquon to have a breakout game as well, to make this close. So I think this is really going to be a close game, but I'm going Dallas Cowboys all day. 44.5 is the over-under. That's really a coin flip, but I like the Cowboys all day in this matchup. And then we got the Tennessee Titans versus the Steelers. The Steelers are 1-point favorites. Look, for the Titans, they got a lot of injuries on offense and defense, but we are hearing sources that are coming out and saying Derrick Henry could be back by Week 18, which is great news for the Tennessee Titans. And hopefully Tennessee will make the playoffs, which I do think they will, but they need Derrick Henry so bad. I mean, Derrick Henry, when he's healthy, obviously a fluke foot injury, but I just think Derrick Henry, obviously the best running back in the NFL, no doubt about it, hands down. A.J. Brown, he's out with a chest injury. But I think for Ryan Tannehill, almost 3,000 yards passing this year, but is he the guy? I don't know. I just don't think so. I think for the Tennessee Titans, it's really hard. But, I want to go Tennessee, but this is really a coin flip game. I think this is a 50-50 game. Ben Roethlisberger, 19 touchdowns, 7 picks this year. I just think for the Pittsburgh Steelers, man, it's like they're inconsistent as well. They're 6-6-1, weird record, right? And they can still make the playoffs this year. That's the crazy part. But I just think for Mike Tomlin and the Steelers, yes, they are more battle-tested. Therefore, I'm going to go Steelers at home. But I do think the Tennessee Titans can make this a game, and it all starts with Ryan Tannehill. If Ryan Tannehill is going to make this a competitive game and really, run this up, I don't know. I just don't see it, dude. I'm not a huge fan of Ryan Tannehill. I just, even in college at A&M, I was just like, man, he's kind of like a run-first quarterback. Like, I don't know. Like, I just didn't see anything special about the kid. I really didn't, dude. I could see in the next couple years the Tennessee Titans drafting a quarterback or trading away Ryan Tannehill eventually. But, I'm going with the Steelers here. At home, I think Big Ben's going to have a good game. A lot of people are writing off Big Ben, including myself. I think he's way past his prime. He's slow. He's fat. He's out of shape. His timing sucks right now, but I'm still going with the Steelers. I think the defense and Watt, TJ Watt, I like them, dude. I like what they're doing, so I'm going to go Pittsburgh Steelers all day in this matchup. And then we got the Houston Texans versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Jaguars are 5-point favorites, which is crazy, right? We just heard that Urban Meyer, their head coach of Jacksonville, just got fired. That's crazy, right? And it's really not, because you've only won 2 games this year, and a lot of bad things have been happening with Urban Meyer, including, that bar scene with some chick. You're married, dude. You're a head coach of the NFL football team. Like, why are you at a bar right now with some random chick, dude? Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Yes, you won national championships in college. I get that. But we're talking about the NFL. We're talking about pros. This isn't college anymore. This isn't high school. We're talking about the NFL, dude. You win 2 games this year, dude. You're out. And I thought he was gonna get fired weeks ago. So I think for Trevor Lawrence, this is the game to break out right here. And I think for Trevor Lawrence, yes, he's had a bad season this year. I'm not gonna write off Trevor Lawrence. He's got 14 picks and 9 touchdowns. I mean, that is pretty bad. But his defense isn't helping either, giving up over 26 points a game. That is terrible for the Jacksonville Jaguars. But I think for Trevor Lawrence, man, this is his game to break out. And I think Urban Meyer, it was a bad fit from the jump. When I saw that video with Urban Meyer, it was like, dude, really? You're a professional coach here. You're making millions of dollars in the NFL. Well, why are you making some of these mental mistakes? You're not in Florida anymore, dude. You're not in a college town. This is real life here, dude. This is grown-up shit. Like, you're messing up. And I thought for Urban Meyer, yes, he's a champion, but at the end of the day, this was a bad move for Urban Meyer. Mistake after mistake, and then mistakes start to add up. They do. They start to add up. I'm telling you what. But, for the Texans, Davis Mills, 8 touchdowns, 8 picks this year. Brandon Cooks, 3 touchdowns. He's a nice receiver. But the Houston Texans, they've given up over 27 points a game. That's not good either. This is really a coin flip game. And I'm going to go Jacksonville. I'm going to go Jacksonville money line. Which is probably dumb. I might end up changing this pick come game time. I might go Houston Texans just because what Jacksonville's been through this year, and Trevor Lawrence isn't playing well, and Urban Meyer, he's gone, dude. Back to college. That's it, dude. Like, I don't know. I have no more comments on Urban Meyer right now at the moment, but, 39.5 is the over-under in this game. I'll probably go with the over, but I like Jacksonville, but I might end up changing this pick to Houston Texans because of everything what's going on with the Jacksonville Jaguars and Trevor Lawrence. And then we got the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Denver Broncos. Denver's 3-point favorites. It makes sense. And Bengals have lost a lot of close games this year. And that's what separates a good team from a great team, right? Yes, and I get it. The Cincinnati Bengals, they've really improved, since the past 20 years. And I think this is one of their teams where it's like, dude, they're going to be freaking nice. They really are. Joe Burrow, he's the future there. No doubt about it, man. And I expect a big game from Joe Burrow. 25 touchdowns, 14 picks this year. 3,483 yards passing for Joe Burrow. So I expect him to ball out. Expect to get the ground game going as well with Joe Mixon. He's got over 1,000 yards rushing and 12 touchdowns. And then obviously his old college teammate, Jamar Chase, over 1,000 yards receiving and 10 touchdowns. I think these two are going to go off this game. I think this is going to be a huge game for Cincinnati. If they want to win, it starts with Joe Burrow, and it starts with their defensive line in Cincinnati. But I just think for Denver, they're more sound team. They're more disciplined. And Teddy Bridgewater, man, such an underrated quarterback. Nobody really talks about Teddy, and that's what's crazy about it. He's got 18 touchdowns, 7 picks this year, almost 3,000 yards passing. And that's like crazy, right? But for Teddy Bridgewater, nobody talks about him in the NFL, which is crazy to me. It really is, and I think Teddy Bridgewater is a top 10 quarterback, no doubt about it. If anything, I know it might sound crazy, even a top 5 quarterback. Just how smart he's becoming as a leader, as a quarterback in the NFL. And to me, I want to go Denver. But, the last couple weekends, I've been picking Cincinnati and been coming up short week after week. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to pick Cincinnati Bengals with the upset. I might come up short yet again, picking Cincinnati for like 3 straight weekends and losing. But I expect Cincinnati to win this game. They got to win this game. If they want to make the playoffs, they got to win this game. This is a huge game for Cincinnati and Denver. But, for the Bengals, their defense has got to tighten up, giving up 22.5 points a game. That's not cutting it at all, dude. So I think for the Bengals, everything's on the line for you guys. So I'm going to go Bengals, man. It's a risky bet, probably a dumb bet. But I could see, Denver winning this game soundly with Teddy Bridgewater and that good defense. But I'm going to go Cincinnati Bengals with the upset. 44 is the over-under. I'll probably go with the over. But I like the Cincinnati Bengals with the upset. Then we got Atlanta Falcons versus the San Francisco 49ers. San Francisco's 9.5-point favorites. It makes sense. Jimmy G's been playing really good football lately. He's got 17 touchdowns, 8 picks, almost 3,000 yards passing. But, there's some injuries. Elijah Mitchell, he's out with a concussion. They're running back. I expect more to come up. But, for Atlanta, Matt Ryan, it's like, which Atlanta's going to come out? And Matt Ryan's really had not a bad year this year. 17 touchdowns, 11 picks, 3,104 yards passing, over 3,000. So that's good, for Matt Ryan. Good stats, but it's like, hasn't won a Super Bowl. Atlanta Falcons in the past 5 years have been coming up short and short every time, dude. Ever since that heartbreak Super Bowl loss in 2016 against the Patriots, they've really hit the downfall. It's like a roller coaster. They were at the top. Now all of a sudden they're going down, and they've been continuing to go down. But you know what? I'm telling you, I like the upset here. And that might sound crazy. With the 49ers, I don't see really anything special. Yes, they got a great defense, great defensive line, arguably the best in the NFL. But I just think Jimmy G, he's not a complete quarterback. He's not, and I expect Atlanta to put a lot of pressure on him. So I'm going to go the upset here, Atlanta Falcons over the San Francisco 49ers. This might be a dumb pick, which I don't care about it, okay? This is one of them bets and picks where it's just like, you know what? Let's just see what happens here. Let's roll the dice and see what happens. So I'm going to go Atlanta. 46.5 is the over-under. I'd probably go with the under. I probably would, but, you know, I expect Matt Ryan to really ball out. Patterson, 5 touchdowns this year. But, you know, it's crazy that I'm picking Atlanta, right? They've given up 27 points a game, dude, you know, and only averaging about 19. But I think Atlanta's going to turn it around. And 49ers, they don't surprise me at all. They're not, if they do make the playoffs, they're not going to run deep. So I'm going to go Atlanta Falcons all day here. And then we got one of the biggest games all weekend. Green Bay Packers versus the Baltimore Ravens. Green Bay's coming in 6.5, probably 7-point favorites into this game. It makes sense. Lamar got hurt last game, got out really in the first quarter. It sucked, you know, with that ankle injury. He's coming in as questionable. Now, if Lamar does not play, yes, Green Bay all day. Green Bay all day. Go Green, go. But if Lamar does play, I'm telling you what, he's probably not 100% either, which sounds crazy to even consider betting on the Ravens. But I'm telling you, for some reason, I have that feeling where Justin Tucker's going to hit a game-winning field goal again. I really do. Something's crazy's going to happen. So I'm going to go Baltimore Ravens with the upset here, playing at home if Lamar plays. Now, obviously, if Lamar doesn't play, I'm going to change my pick to Green Bay. But if Lamar Jackson does play, I'm going to go Lamar here. I just think, you know, for the Ravens, they're playing for more right now. They've been banged up. And it really doesn't make sense to pick the Ravens, right? Because all the momentum's going against them right now, and all the momentum with Green Bay is going with them. So, you know, Aaron Rodgers is probably going to have another heyday. Aaron Rodgers, 27 touchdowns, only 4 picks this year. I mean, if you ask me, yes, Aaron Rodgers is NFL MVP this year. I mean, like, seriously, after week 1, what happened to right now leading up to this moment, I got to go Aaron Rodgers. I got to, you know, and Devontae Adams, 1,204 yards receiving and 7 touchdowns. Been pulling out. I'm telling you what, dude. But, you know, with Green Bay right now, they got 2 offensive guards that are out this game. That could be a huge X factor. And I think the Ravens defense is going to put pressure on Aaron Rodgers, maybe cause him to throw a pick or 2. You know, maybe 1 pick. That's all you need from Aaron Rodgers. You need 1 interception from him to have that chance to win the game. But I think Lamar this year, man, you got to play. He's got to play, dude. You know, 16 touchdowns, 13 picks this year. I just think if Lamar's out, you know, that's it for the Ravens. But, you know, I'm telling you, Lamar's got to play this game. This is a huge game for the Ravens and how they're going to be seeded in the playoffs. You know, Mark Andrews, their tight end, been balling out, 6 touchdowns, 926 yards receiving. I just think, you know, 43 is the over-under. That's definitely a coin flip. I just think, you know, it all depends on Lamar. He's the X factor, and I think if Lamar has the game of his life in this game right here, they can beat Green Bay. They really can. But obviously, without Lamar, it's over. But I'm going with the upset here. I'm going Baltimore Ravens over Green Bay, which is crazy to pick against Aaron Rodgers, one of the GOATs. You know, I think he's the NFL MVP right now. You know, and Devontae Adams been balling out. So, you know, Green Bay's got all the momentum, but it's gonna come to a stop right now. So I'm gonna go Baltimore Ravens with the upset. Justin Tucker with the game-winning field goal. And then we got the Las Vegas Raiders versus the Cleveland Browns. This is a crazy matchup, right? You know, the Las Vegas Raiders are 6-7. Cleveland Browns are 7-6. It's like they flopped. But I'm telling you what, the Browns are 1.5-point favorites. But you know what? I'm going Las Vegas Raiders. Why am I going Las Vegas Raiders? They're on a 2-game losing streak. Why? Because Cleveland Browns have a lot of players hurt. You know, they got A.J. Green. He's out. Javaris Landry. He's out. Clowney. He's out. You know, so like there's so many players out for the Cleveland Browns. I think the X factor is Myles Garrett, their defensive end. He's got to put pressure on Derek Carr all day. And Baker, a lot of people hate Baker. He's had a really quiet year this year. 13 touchdowns, 7 picks, and I think he's been banged up. And I think the ground game is the X factor for the Cleveland Browns. Obviously, Myles Garrett and Nick Chubb, 6 touchdowns, 926 yards rushing, 926 yards rushing. I just think for Nick Chubb, you got to get the run game going. For the Cleveland Browns, you can't just become dependent on Baker all the time. And if you become a one-dimensional team, you're going to lose. So I'm going to go with the upset here. I think the Cleveland Browns, this is going to be a competitive game. But, you know, Cleveland, with all the injuries they got this weekend, I'm going with Las Vegas Raiders here. I think Derek Carr is going to have a breakout game. He has almost 4,000 yards passing, 18 touchdowns, 10 picks this year. And I think, you know, his star receiver, Hunter Renfrow, he's going to ball out as well. 5 touchdowns, 877 yards receiving. I think he's got to get in the mix as well. And then obviously Josh Jacobs with 7 touchdowns. Got to get that run game going. but I'm going with the Las Vegas Raiders with the upset. I am. I just think for the Cleveland Browns, so many injuries right now. This is a horrible time for it. I'd love to see the Browns win. I'm a huge fan of Baker Mayfield, the sober Johnny Manziel, but I'm telling you what, I'm going Las Vegas Raiders. Derek Carr is going to have a big game. They will be 7-7 after this game. Go Raiders. And then we got Minnesota Vikings versus the Chicago Bears. Minnesota 6-point favorites, which can be really deceiving, but you know what? Let's give him respect. Kirk Cousins, man. That's all I got to say. He's got 27 touchdowns and only 5 picks this year. I really doubted Kirk Cousins. I thought Kirk Cousins was going to have a shitty year, and that's it. His career's over in the NFL, but he's really proved me wrong this year. He's proved me wrong in 2021 where it's like, dude, Kirk Cousins really is a good quarterback. Yes, he did line up on the wrong side one time to get the snap. We get all that against San Francisco, but other than that, dude, he's had a really good year. He really has 3,569 yards passing to add on to that. But I think for the Minnesota Vikings, their defense, dude, is trash right now. They're giving up about 26 points a game, dude. That's not a Super Bowl champion team right there. It's not. And I think, yes, the receiving core, Justin Jefferson's been balling out, dude. Crazy year this year, 8 touchdowns, 1,288 yards receiving. I think they got to get him going as well. And I think Kirk Cousins understands that and what's at this magnitude. For the Bears, obviously they got some injuries, but they're giving up about 26 points a game as well. Justin Fields had a really bad year this year as a rookie, but the year's not over, and I really think he can bounce back. He's got 6 touchdowns, 10 picks. Got that rookie in there, right? But I just think the way they handle the situation, Chicago Bears, I don't see their head coach being there much longer. I really don't. Just the way he handled Justin Fields. You guys are going to draft the quarterback in the first round and not start him? I don't understand that. Right now, Justin Fields, this is your team. This is your game to break out. If the Chicago Bears win, it's going to be because of Justin Fields. If they lose, it's going to be because of him, really. I hate to say put all the pressure on Justin Fields, but it's got to be like that right now on the rookie. So you're playing at home, have a breakout game. I see this game coming down to the wire. I can see the Bears with the upset, but I'm going Minnesota. I'm going Minnesota all day here. Why am I going Minnesota? Because of Kirk Cousins, how well he's played this year. So I'm going to go Minnesota, and really, it's going to be crazy towards the end of the season. Week 18 is going to be nuts, but I'm going with the Minnesota Vikings because of Kirk Cousins and what they're doing in the run game and Dalvin Cook. Go Minnesota. And then we got Seattle Seahawks versus the Los Angeles Rams. The Rams are 6-point favorites, which is kind of deceiving, right? This is a, rival game. But I think for Seattle, it's really a long shot to make the playoffs right now. Russell Wilson, 16 touchdowns, 4 picks. Tyler Lockett, their star, he is out, which is sad, right? He's out over 1,000 yards receiving and 5 touchdowns. He's out with the illness. But I think for the Rams right now, yes, you guys got a lot of injuries. 2 offensive guards out. OBJ's out. Their running back, Derek Henderson Jr., he's out. So a lot of players out, but I'm still going to go Rams at home, 6-point favorites. I think Matt Stafford's going to have a breakout game. He's got 3,898 yards passing with 33 touchdowns, only 9 picks. Cooper Kupp, dude. Nobody talks about Cooper Kupp, really. He's got 12 touchdowns this year, almost 1,500 yards receiving, dude. This guy, he's probably had the best year as a receiver right now, Cooper Kupp. Yes, he's like a slot receiver, and he's been balling out. Respect to Cooper Kupp, and I think the Rams are picking it back up. I think McVay, he's a smart coach. He will get the job done here. I think Seattle, they're playing for next year to keep Russell Wilson there for forever, really, until his career's over. So I just think it's going to be Rams. 45.5 is the over-under. I'll probably go with the over. I like the Rams all day at 6. I think Matt Stafford's going to throw for like 4 touchdowns here and ball out. So go LA Rams. And then we got Philly versus the Washington team. Philly's coming in 8-point favorites. These teams are both 6 and 7, which is crazy, right? But Taylor Heineke, their starting quarterback, he's out with an illness. Terry McLaurin, their star receiver, he's out with a concussion. So the Washington team right now, they got a lot of injuries, but I'll still give them the edge a little bit. Why? Because of how much momentum they got, how good their defense is playing. But ultimately, I'm going Philly. I'm going to go Philly money line. I think 8 right now. That line might change, but 8 is way too much. Way too much for this magnitude right here. I just think I don't understand it. I think for Philly, Jalen Hurts, 13 touchdowns, 8 picks this year. He's got 695 yards rushing and 8 rushing touchdowns. But it's there. This talent's there in Philly. They just got to add a couple more pieces there. Devontae Smith, over 700 yards receiving and 4 touchdowns. I just think for Philly, they're giving up about 22.5 points a game. That's not cutting it. But, the Washington team, is giving up 25 points a game. So I think, yes, a lot of momentum's with the Washington team, but I'm going to go Philly here. Philly's playing at home. I think it's going to be all Philly. And I think, for Jalen Hurts, he's got to have a big game here. This is the game to show out here. It's on Tuesday, which is a weird day, but I like it. I like Philly. I like Jalen Hurts. I like Philly all day in this matchup. But NFL 15, man, some crazy freaking games. A lot of 50-50 games. Really a lot of 50-50. Obviously, my upset pick is definitely the Bengals over Denver, even Atlanta over the 49ers, but that's a shot in the dark. I wouldn't be surprised if 49ers win that game. And then, obviously, I got another upset with the Ravens over Green Bay. If Lamar plays, if he does it, definitely Green Bay. But, obviously, my Indianapolis Colts. This is the biggest game yet for this year for that team. I'm telling you, the Colts got to win, man. My team has to win. We're playing New England at home, dude. We hate New England. We hate Bill Belichick. We hate cheating, dude. Forget Bill Belichick. Go Indianapolis Colts. Let's go!